All right, Nick, let's talk about the USC Trojans. We've been talking about them all offseason, how they've built an incredible coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. They've got a lot of pickups on the defensive side of the ball, and this defense is really transforming into something incredible. But now we have an update for the offensive side of the ball, which I think as well isn't as needed as the pickups on the defensive side of the ball. But I think nonetheless, this is a very big pickup for the Trojans as far as a new coach joining the staff. Let's get on into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from On3 Sports. As Lincoln Riley reportedly has a new running backs coach for USC after news broke Monday that the Trojans were hiring Anthony Jones, from TCU to take over the running back room. Matt Zenitz of 24/7 Sports broke that story, tweeting out USC is set to hire TCU's Anthony Jones as its new running back coach. Sources tell 24/7 Sports. At TCU, Jones had coached players such as 2023 third-round pick Kendra Miller and current NFL draft prospect Amani Bailey. Jones made his start at Memphis, where he coached Antonio Gibson into a third-round selection by the Washington football team in 2020 NFL draft. In 2019, Darrell Henderson and Tony Pollard were also both drafted. Henderson selected in the third by the Los Angeles Rams, while Pollard was taken in the fourth by the Dallas Cowboys. All impressive running backs, a very impressive resume by Jones. I think this was a great pickup by the Trojans. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But Trojans fans, let us know in the comment section below. Talking about running backs, talking about a running back coach pickup, talking about a great draft picks. Let us know in the comment section below. Outside of Reggie Bush, who was your favorite Trojans running back to come out of this program? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this new pickup by the Trojans?
Man, that's just an incredible question. I tell you what, a lot of fame was given to Reggie Bush, but I was a big Lindale White guy myself growing up. I loved his playing style. But when it comes to this move, right, I think it's really important because you brought up all those NFL names there, and that was a mouthful, right? There was a bunch of NFL guys, a bunch of NFL prospects that have gone through this guy's coaching career. And I think that's exactly what USC was looking here. Because one of the things that the Trojans have to do that only a few other programs have to deal with, the Alabamas of the world, the Ohio States of the world, they have to be an NFL pipeline, right? Because they just have that image. USC is right up there at the top of those programs where it's just seen as, okay, you go to USC, you play 3 or 4 years, then you go to the NFL. That's their brand. That's their recruiting their recruiting pitch. That's how they kind of operate as a program, whether they choose to directly or not. One of the problems that can happen to these kind of programs is that when they don't become an NFL pipeline, the recruiting can take a big time tailspin, and that can really be devastating. Just because as a high school kid growing up, right, you sit there and say, oh, if I'm a top flight prospect, I go to USC or I go to Alabama or I go to Ohio State, then I go to the NFL, right? And it's one of those things. If a lot of players, say running backs in this case, go to USC and then don't go to the NFL, then a lot of the prospects will be like, okay, USC's down, right? Regardless of whatever the factors are, they're going to look at USC and say, okay, they're down because they used to be an NFL factory. They're not anymore. I'm going to look somewhere else. So this is Lincoln Riley kind of heading off that problem at the pass with a great hire here, a guy who's known for developing NFL guys. And there's a lot of things to really like because if you look at a lot of the prospects he's coached, it's a lot of versatility. It's home run hitters. It's physical guys. It's guys who play running back and wide receiver. Tony Pollard comes to mind as one of those prospects, right? He brings in a lot of different viewpoints. And one of the things that needs to be really critical is that he takes guys that come out of high school and he finds what they're really good at and amplifies that skill sets and then lets them dominate. And then they go on to the NFL based on that skill set. I think that's going to be awesome for USC in recruiting. I think you're going to have a lot of guys come in, whether they're going to be physical running backs. Okay, they're going to be focused on only doing physical stuff with that guy. If you got a guy who's a great receiver out of the backfield, they'll focus on doing more of that with that specific player. And I think that kind of specialization, that kind of focus at your position coach can be a huge advantage. A lot of other programs that kind of just plug in players and just say, hey, you're going to have to do it all. First string, you got to do everything. Second string, you got to do everything that's related to that. Here, we know there's going to be a lot more specialization based on the prior players he's coached. And I think that's a huge benefit USC going forward. So again, recruiting, heading off a potential problem at the pass. Great job by Lincoln Riley. But I think it's also going to give them a tactical advantage as they put all their prospects in and current players as well in great positions to be successful.
Yeah, Nick, and you talked about some of these guys that Jones has coached coming out of college with great hands, partially due to the fact that Jones himself was a receiver at UT Chattanooga.
That's a great
So,
point.
that's probably something that he focuses on quite a lot. So, USC, I would love to see having some great pass catching backs coming out of the backfield. But the other aspect, we always talked about this, and really, I think Coach Riley has focused on this aspect a lot. All the coaches he's hired have been really great coaches in their own right, but they've all been really great recruiters as well. And he was a great recruiter at Memphis, a great recruiter at TCU, but I think he had a lot bigger hits at Memphis as well. So bring Coach Jones in as a guy that can recruit on top of that. That's an added bonus for this Southern Cal team to bring back some big time gets on the offensive side of the ball, possibly even in that running back room. Get some more big time running backs coming to Southern Cal by the way of recruiting. I know they've picked up some great guys like Marshawn Lloyd. He came out of the transfer portal, but I'd like to see some homegrown talent in the way of recruiting, picking up a guy, and developing a great running back at Southern Cal on the back of Coach Anthony Jones.
And there's one other important thing to realize, and I had to pull up the record here just to make sure I wasn't going crazy. I was like, when's the last time a USC running back has been drafted? It was Ronald Jones back in 2018. It's been 5 years. We'll see what happens in this upcoming draft, the 2024 draft, since a USC running back was drafted in the National Football League. That is absolutely bonkers for this Trojan program that's known for chugging out a number of great running back prospects going back decades. So again, I think Lincoln Riley, once again, he already sees the problem that's happening at that position. He brings in Coach Jones to help remedy that guy. He seems to be a perfect fit. Again, you got a problem, identify the right guy to fix it, bring him in, let him go to work. I love what Lincoln Riley has done this offseason, made a number of great hires. You brought it up on the defensive side of the ball, but this is an example of a great move on the offense. And I think we'll see the benefits of this both in the short term, but in the long term as well.